Hello everyone, I'm Gregory Riley, the Pet Guy at WTHI. Welcome you to another podcast edition of the WTHI Pet Saver segment. Joining me today is meteorologist Pamela Gardner. Today we're going to be talking about heat-related stresses for your pet and obviously what's going on outside right now.
Yes.
Definitely.
It's intense out there.
It's really intense out there. You know, we were kind of joking around earlier that it's not doing much for our hair, is it?
No, my hair's curling and you can't really control it.
No.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. So obviously what we're going to be doing a little bit later on, we're going to go out to my car and we're going to take a temperature of the inside of the car, just being, you know, windows rolled up and everything. And basically we're going to be demonstrating why it's really not a good idea to be leaving your pet inside your car.
Yes, and already this morning temperatures are in the upper 80s, but with the heat index it feels like the 90s. It's brutal, and it's just going to get hotter. It's just going to get hotter.
I mean, I think when I woke up, correct me if I'm wrong, when I got up at 5:30 this morning, you were saying it was already 77 degrees outside.
Yes.
And even just, you know, watering my garden this morning, you know, when it was not even sunlight out, I mean, you could already feel the heat.
Yeah, it's that air you can feel, kind of.
Right, so I guess you had a couple of questions.
I did. One thing, so I've heard dogs don't sweat. Cats cannot sweat.
Right.
So would the heat index then not affect the dogs, since the heat index is basically based off of how quickly humans can sweat?
Right. The way they perspire, believe it or not, is they actually will perspire through their pads of their paw, more or less. And they don't really, you know, per se get, you know, wet or sticky or anything like that. You know, certainly panting also helps them cool off. One of the big things that a lot of people will suffer right around this time of the year is going to be heat stroke with their dog. And there are going to be certain dogs that are going to be more prone than, like, say, other dogs. Certainly your Chow Chows that are going to be really hairy. I would say St. Bernards. Even I would venture to say German Shepherds would be also going to be really prone to these type of heat-related stresses.
Okay. I like to go running with my dog.
Sure.
Is that something I should definitely limit, even in the morning hours? I mean, I can't really tell. My dog's always constantly, it looks like he's hot because he has that thick fur. So how could I tell if he needs to really lay down, take a rest and stuff?
You know, I think really just excessive panting. You know, certainly I think their energy level is going to be really decrease. If you do go running, you know, it may not be a bad idea to carry a bottle of water with you. And certainly you can probably go to, like, say, a pet store and get one of those little collapsible water bowls that you can keep in your pocket, and you can pour in that some water and give him a little bit of a break. Certainly if you're traveling long distances, you can do that also.
Now, the other thing too, if I feel like my dog is in a dangerous situation where he's overheating and stuff, what can I do? Do I need to call a vet or take him to the vet? And in the meantime, if I'm taking him to a vet, is there anything I can do to help?
Right. You know, certainly the biggest thing is, like, let's say your dog collapses and it's brutally hot outside. The one thing that you really want to do is bring his core temperature down. What you don't want to do is just splash ice cold water on the dog, because you could put him into shock. Just cool water will help. And what you can concentrate on is right around the throat area, underneath the armpits, and certainly right around the abdomen. That'll kind of bring his temperature down. Afterwards, you definitely need to bring him to a veterinarian where, you know, certainly they'll do a little bit more extensive treatments with IV fluids and so forth.
Okay. That's all the questions I had.
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Well, you know, obviously it's, you know, really nasty and hot outside. You know, certainly, you know, besides pets, I mean, who else would be prone to this kind of really bad temperatures right now?
Small children, babies especially, who can't help themselves. They don't know, you know, if they're overheating. The elderly too. Just anyone. Never leave them in the car. Basically, the car acts like the greenhouse. It's that greenhouse effect. So the shortwave radiation can get in. It bounces off any object in the car, emitted as long-wave radiation, and that's why that heat that is emitted cannot escape. So the outside temperature may be 80 degrees, but the car temperature could get up to 120 plus.
Wow.
In a very short amount of time, about 20 to 40 minutes.
You know, it's kind of funny, last year with my car, like a fool, I had my car windows rolled up. And what you were just talking about is that you have so much, you know, air molecules that are inside your car that are bouncing around that, you know, I thought someone broke into my car because the window was shattered. But it didn't shatter on the inside, it exploded outwards. And so I think that's exactly what you were kind of talking about. It's kind of a expensive lesson that I learned.
Sure, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I think that will probably it. Why don't we do our experiment and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good. All right, we're going to take an actual temperature outside here. Right now it is 86.9 degrees. So we're going to go inside the car, take a reading, see how much hotter it is. All right, taking a temperature reading. It's been sitting out for about 20 minutes or so, and the temperature is already at 95 degrees. So it's quickly rising. And this little kitty, we didn't use a real cat because it's too dangerous, but if this kitty was left in the car, they'd be already panting, right?
Pretty much so, yeah. Obviously I think, they would be probably pretty distressed and, definitely need some medical attention. So, yeah, good tips. Don't leave your pet in the car, especially when the windows rolled up. If you do have to, stop somewhere, say at a grocery store or something like that, I would recommend just leave your car running with the AC moving. That's what more or less I do. The crazy thing about it is that some people would be like, well, aren't you worried about, your car being stolen? That is obviously a risk. In my case, I've got 6 dogs that are completely goofy and, unmanageable, so I don't really have to worry about that too much.
That's good. So definitely keep the AC on if you need to.
Definitely keep the AC on if you need to. Obviously, if you have to go somewhere where it requires that you have to turn your car off, certainly try and make it as quick as possible. Because I think probably within maybe about 3 to 5 minutes, you're going to be in some serious dangerous situations.
And even to add to that, park in the shade because the temperature outside will decrease about 5 degrees, and it'll just help with that AC to make sure it works to its full capacity.
Yeah, definitely, and certainly try and keep a bottle of water with you at all times. Keep hydrating yourself, and obviously